Why do we call letters characters? Because A is always A. At 2 a.m. in Cairo, in Kingston, in Kansas, A is still A. B does not become D because the weather changed. Numbers don't wake up moody. 1 is always 1, 2 is always 2. Statues don't grow eyebrows when the economy dips. They never change. Write it down. What doesn't change is called character. Character is simply integrity. Integrity is oneness. Say it to yourself. Integrity is oneness. It is integration. The same components harmonize everywhere, every time. It is who you are when nobody is clapping and when everybody is watching. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Holiness is oneness. That's integrity. Tweets need this. Be one. Be the same. Be whole. Who are you at 2 a.m.? Not your title, your followers, or your public smile. The you without the microphone, without makeup, without the boardroom. The you when the phone is not on. That is you. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely. Proverbs 10:9. Security comes from sameness. Instability erupts from duplicity. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1-8. When you are 2, you are weak. When you are 1, you are strong. Let me announce the law. There is no such thing as a private life. Write that down. You can hide an act, but you cannot hide a nature. Secrets sabotage trust. For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest. Luke 8:17. So live loudly. Live integrated. Never do anything, anywhere, with anyone you do not want appearing on a screen in your children's room. Lead with your life. Character is self-imposed discipline for the sake of your future. Character is simply integrity. Integrity is oneness. If it changes under pressure, it was never character, only preference. Tweet that to somebody right now. A is still A at 2 a.m. Be the same at 2 p.m. in the spotlight and at sunrise in your kitchen. Until who you are is one, you cannot be trusted with tomorrow. Who you are at 2 a.m. is who you are. Now that you know who you are at 2 a.m., let me ask you a question that will not let you sleep. Are you for sale? Every store tags its goods. The question is, what is the tag on your soul? What number would make you betray what you said was non-negotiable? Don't answer religiously. Answer honestly. Would the deed to the house do it? Would the scholarship for your child do it? Would the promotion you have prayed for do it? Write this down. The human heart is tested by its price. Here is a myth we must bury tonight. Money does not change you. Money exposes you. Money is a microscope. It magnifies what is already there. He who is faithful in a very little thing is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. If a small tip can make you rude, a big transfer will make you dangerous. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. 1 Timothy 6:10. The money is not evil, the affection is. No one can serve 2 masters. You cannot serve God and mammon. Matthew 6:24. Choose your master before your master chooses you. Tweet this. Integrity is when your private price is 0. Let me run a diagnosis. If a client said, round the numbers and the contract is yours, would you sign? If a donor whispered, ignore that policy and I'll clear your debt, would you bend? If a partner offered, look the other way for 1 quarter and I'll make you rich, would you blink? If an envelope arrived with unmarked bills and a quiet request, would you open it or return it? What is the price of your silence, your signature, your Saturday? What will it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? Mark 8:36. That is not poetry, that is accounting. Integrity is non-negotiable. Equity, honesty is my only policy. Before life slaps a sticker on you, remove the tag. Decide it now, in peace, before the pressure arrives. Set your private price to 0. Say it aloud where your temptations can hear you. I am not for sale. Today we remove the price tag before life names it for you. Listen carefully. Principles are laws. They are universal, predictable, and permanent. They do not ask your permission, wait for your mood, or check your calendar. Write it down. You can ignore a principle, but you can never disagree with it without paying for the disagreement. That's why we call them laws. Consider gravity. You can criticize gravity. You can deny gravity. You can even preach against gravity. But if you jump off a 10-story building, you will not break gravity, you will break yourself. Tweet that. Principles don't need your vote to function. They simply function. Now bring that down to ethics. Truth is a law. Honesty is a law. Stewardship is a law. These are not suggestions for religious people. They are operating systems for human trust. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. Galatians 6-7. Sow deception, reap distrust. Sow diligence, reap dominion. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Proverbs 11-1. Accounting is not just math, it is morality. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. Consistency is a law of credibility. When you tell the truth, you align with law. When you shade the truth, you collide with it. Hear the maxim and write it down. You don't break principles, you break yourself against them. You don't bend truth, you twist your soul. You don't gain stewardship, you bankrupt your future. Pad the invoice just a little and you trigger a law on trust that will eventually invoice you with interest. Hide the expense, mute the conflict, massage the numbers. Consequences already coded. They sow the wind and reap the whirlwind. Hosea 8-7. This is why the money test is not about cash, it is about law. When money speaks, it is asking, will you align or will you collide? If you align with the principle, money becomes your servant. If you collide, money becomes your judge. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease. Genesis 8:22. Set your ethics before you set your budget. Chain your choices to the law before opportunity arrives. Honesty is my only policy. Stand under the principle and you will stand over resources. Refuse to bribe. Account every dollar. Tell the whole truth, because principles don't negotiate. You cannot bend them. You can only break yourself by trying. Let me now reveal the pattern that runs the universe. Write it down. Genesis 1:26 is not poetry, it is protocol. Then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness, and let them have dominion. Image before dominion. Character before power. Nature before numbers. Tweet that. God never gives dominion before image, because power given to a fractured self becomes a weapon. Dominion without integrity is demolition. Why? Because the God who entrusts power is one. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6-4. Holiness is oneness. Integrity is oneness. Be the same everywhere, every time, with everyone. That is the image. When the image is integrated, dominion is safe. When the image is divided, influence becomes an accelerant for collapse. Be holy, for I am holy. 1 Peter 1:16. Holy means whole. Write it down. Correct the cliche in your mind forever. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals corruption. Money does not change you. Money magnifies you. Influence is an amplifier. It turns whispers in your soul into headlines in your life. If greed is a hairline crack, pressure will split the beam. If deceit is a smudge, success will make it a stain. He who is faithful in very little is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. The much exposes the little. Therefore, never pursue a platform your character cannot carry. Don't build a 10th floor on a first floor foundation. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. Proverbs 11:3. Destiny is heavy. Only integrity can lift it. Vision without values is demolition in slow motion. So here is the mandate before increase arrives. Set the private price to 0. Say it aloud. I am not for sale. Before God adds 0 to your account, subtract the price from your soul. Chain your future to your nature. Honesty is my only policy. Image before dominion. Because when your character is one, your dominion is safe. When you are whole, you can be trusted with the whole. 3 things will always examine your character: power, money, and access to sex. Write it down. They are unannounced invigilators of the soul. They don't send you an email, they show up as opportunity. They do not corrupt, they reveal. Not your charisma, your character. Not your gift, your integrity. Power, money, access. Tweet that to somebody who thinks they are ready for influence. Tonight, we bring the camera close to the money examiner. It arrives wearing contracts, campaigns, clients, and crisis. Money sits across the table and asks simple questions with complex consequences. Will you invoice truthfully? Will you report fully? Will you favor the donor over the doctrine? Will you hide the loss to win the quarter? Money is a relentless examiner. Prepare answers before it asks questions. If you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? Luke 16:11. That is not a suggestion. That is an exam rubric. Follow the trail of most public collapses and you will find fingerprints of money on the scene. Bribes in envelopes, side accounts, campaign slush, padded bids, secret partnerships. Whoever is greedy for unjust gain troubles his own household. Proverbs 15:27. Families pay for what leaders hide. Churches, companies, cities bleed for what executives massage. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Proverbs 22:1. Your brand is not your logo, your brand is your ledger. So here is the decision line. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions before you face the warden of temptation. Write your sentences now. I do not lie on reports. I do not take bribes. I do not trade principle for profit. I do not sell silence. Honesty is my only policy. Set these answers in peace. You will need them under pressure. To pass this examiner, we must engineer values into visible ethics. Convert belief into procedure, conviction into policy, honor into habit. Budget your integrity. Audit your soul. Post your standards when money negotiates. Because when values are coded into daily ethics, your answers will speak before temptation finishes its question. Let me show you the conveyor belt that carries your soul into your spending. Write it down. Philosophy produces values. Values produce morals. Morals inform ethics. Ethics shape character. Character becomes lifestyle. That is the cascade. Violate that order and you will live in contradiction. Honor that order and you will live in coherence. What is philosophy? It is your belief system. What you believe is true about God, people, time, and purpose. What are values? Things you value. Simple. If you value truth, you pay for truth. If you value generosity, your money flows outward. If you value status, your money buys applause. Your money behavior is your belief system with decimals. Tweet that. Let's audit. Take your device. List your top 5 values before God with a clean conscience. Holiness, family, excellence, generosity, justice. Now, pull your last 5 financial decisions, where you spent, where you saved, how you earned. Match them line by line. If your values and your transactions don't rhyme, your philosophy is theory, not truth. Write the vision and make it plain. Habakkuk 2:2. Vision without values is destiny without discipline. Tweet that to a leader with a dream and no guardrails. Application is where integrity stops being poetry. Turn values into policies. No bribes, no lies, no hidden fees, no undisclosed conflicts. We aim at what is honorable, not only in the Lord's sight, but also in the sight of man. 2 Corinthians 8:21. Now convert policies into systems. 2 signature approvals beyond the limit. Receipts for every expense, no exceptions. Monthly third-party reconciliations. Pre-approval on vendors. Written disclosures for relatives and deals. 0 cash payouts above a set amount. Timestamp bids. Segregation of duties. So the hand that orders isn't the hand that pays. Why this rigor? Because ethics are values with teeth. He who is faithful in very little is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. Build rails before the curve. Hardwire honesty. So under pressure, you default to policy, not personality. Budget your integrity, then let your budget preach your beliefs. Honesty is my only policy. Lead with your ledger. This is the moral stress lab. Pre-decisions neutralize temptation. Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself. Daniel 1:8 before the menu was served. Resolution precedes presentation. Write that down. Answers prepared in peace win battles in pressure. Now step into 7 offers and speak your sentences out loud until they become muscle memory. Offer 1. We can do cash under the table to win the bid. Your answer must already be written. If it cannot be in voice, it cannot be received. I do not take cash under the table. Return it. You shall take no bribe, for a bribe blinds the clear-sighted. Exodus 23:8. Tweet that. Offer 2. Inflate the invoice. We'll split the difference. Say it without blinking. We invoice reality, not fiction. A false balance is an abomination. Proverbs 11:1. Remove the padding or remove me. Honesty is my only policy. Offer 3. Boss says, shade the truth to secure the deal. Respect is not obedience to deceit. Respond, my yes is yes and my no is no. James 5:12. If this deal needs a lie, we don't need this deal. I will not sign. Offer 4. Insider information just between us. Whispered advantage is stolen advantage. Declare, I refuse unearned gain. I recuse, I report, and I will not trade on secrets. Bread of deceit is sweet to a man, but afterwards his mouth shall be filled with gravel. Proverbs 20:17. Offer 5. Donor money if you soften the message. Announce your non-negotiable. My gift is not for sale. I will declare the whole counsel of God. Acts 20:27. Keep the check. Keep my conviction. We do not peddle the word of God. 2 Corinthians 2:17. Offer 6. Family emergency. Cut a legal corner to survive. Pressure reveals foundation. Answer. Better is the poor who walks in integrity than the rich who is crooked. Proverbs 28:6. I will not save my house by burning my name. God will provide. Offer 7. A favor can fast track your permit. Choose delay over decay. We will queue like everyone else. No envelope, no favor. Wait for the Lord. Psalm 27:14. I wait clean rather than arrive dirty. Now formalize it. Pre-write your non-negotiables. Put them on your phone, your mirror, your boardroom wall. Rehearse your refusal sentences out loud until your mouth can speak them under adrenaline. He swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:4. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions so you can live free. Honesty is my only policy. My private price is 0. Lead with your life. There is no such thing as a private life. Write it down. Secrecy is the back room where prices are negotiated on your soul. Nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest. Luke 8:17. Transparency is not publicity, it is protection. Live loudly. When the lights stay on, the discounts disappear. Tweet this. Transparency disarms temptation. When nothing is hidden, nothing is for sale. Here is the rule for your money life. Never do anything with money you would not want announced on a screen behind you while your mother, your board, and your children are in the room. If it cannot be celebrated in daylight, it cannot be executed at midnight. Whoever conceals his transgressions will not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them will obtain mercy. Proverbs 28:13. Mercy lives in the light. Now systems, because character must be engineered. Open books as a default, not a favor. Dual signatures above fixed thresholds so no one hand controls the gate. Third-party audits that report to independent oversight, not to the person being audited. Expense transparency, receipts photographed and logged within 24 hours. Monthly statements circulated to the proper circle. No cash envelopes beyond petty cash limits. All reimbursements through traceable channels. Vendor bids documented and time-stamped. Segregation of duties. Who requests, who approves, who pays. Never the same person. We aim at what is honorable, not only in the Lord's sight, but also in the sight of man. 2 Corinthians 8:21. Personal practice seals the public system. If you are married, shared passwords and full view statements, no shadow wallets. If single, appoint an accountability partner with read-only access to every account. Instant notification on all transactions. Written budgets align to declared values, generosity, stewardship, excellence. Review them line by line. Each month, schedule a quarterly conscience audit. What did I earn? Why did I earn it that way? Where did it go? Finally, prune. Remove environments, apps, and incentives that reward compromise. Delete disappearing message apps for business. End meetings where the real conversation only starts after the minutes stop. Restructure compensation that pays you more for cutting corners than for keeping covenant. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. Ephesians 5:11. Move the meeting to the glass room at noon. Lead with your life. Walk in the light as he is in the light. 1 John 1-7. Honesty is my only policy. My private price is 0. Live so loudly that temptation has no whisper left. History is a courtroom, and the witnesses have been sworn in. Listen to Joseph. Alone in a foreign house, no board, no camera, no HR policy, just a proposition in private. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Genesis 39:9, his price was 0 at midnight. God trusted him with national budgets at noon. Pharaoh said, see, I have set you over all the land of Egypt. Genesis 41-41. Write it down. Private purity qualifies public authority. Image before dominion. Now here Daniel. The empire rolled out royal inducements, robes, chains, rank, and he said, let your gifts be for yourself and give your rewards to another. Daniel 5:17. He resolved before menus. Daniel 1-8 prayed when prayer was illegal. Daniel 6:10 and slept where lions starved. Integrity outlived empires. Babylon fell. Persia rotated. Daniel remained. Tweet that to every climber. Influence that refuses influence is the influence God trusts. Turn the page and tremble. Judas asked the price. What will you give me if I deliver him to you? They weighed out 30 pieces of silver. Matthew 26-15. 30. A discount on divinity. He carried a bag, loved a number, lost his soul, and went and hanged himself. Matthew 27-5. Write this in big letters. Betrayal begins with a discount. Write it down. The moment you reduce conviction to a number, you have already sold tomorrow. Then Gehazi. The prophet refused Naaman's gifts to protect the testimony of grace, but Gehazi ran after the chariot with a lie. Is it a time to receive money? The verdict came swift. The leprosy of Naaman shall cling to you and to your descendants forever. 2 Kings 5:26-27. He gained garments. He lost a generation. Discounts forfeit futures. A modern witness steps forward. Nelson Mandela. The regime offered conditional freedom if he would renounce the very struggle for justice that defined his conviction. He refused a deal that required a divided soul. Decades in a cell, but the man walked out larger than the prison. Integrity multiplied influence. Power did not give him character. Character gave him power. Here is the law, and you can never disagree with the principle. 0 price preserves destiny. Discounts forfeit futures. Honesty is my only policy. My private price is 0. Seeing the pattern, we will not trust memory. We will codify integrity. We will bind ourselves to vows, build systems, and set relational guardrails so promise is protected by policy and destiny is defended by design. Now we sign with our mouths what our lives must deliver. This is the integrity contract. Write it down. Say it aloud. Frame it where money negotiates and where power whispers. I do not lie. I do not steal. I do not bribe. I disclose fully. I declare conflicts before decisions. I return overpayments. I refuse secret commission. I account for every dollar. My yes is yes. My no is no. When you vow a vow to God, do not delay paying it. Better that you should not vow than that you should vow and not pay. Ecclesiastes 5:4-5. Honesty is my only policy. Now institutionalize your vow so your future does not depend on your feelings. Procurement must be law, not improvisation. Minimum 3 competitive bids, sealed or time-stamped submissions. Evaluation by criteria set before any quote arrives. Segregation of duties. One requests, another approves, another pays. Vendor rotation and cooling off periods. No gifts from vendors beyond a token threshold recorded in a public log. Conflict of interest forms must be signed annually and again at the point of every decision. Define related parties broadly, family, friends, former employers, your own side entities, and disclose in writing. Establish whistleblower protection with teeth. Multiple reporting channels, including an external hotline, guaranteed anonymity, non-retaliation stated in policy and enforced in practice. Reports go to an independent committee with authority to act. We aim at what is honorable, not only in the Lord's sight, but also in the sight of man. 2 Corinthians 8:21. Now build relational guardrails, a board of conscience that can question, pause, or veto you. Choose 3 to 5 wise, unbribable people, spouse or elder, a seasoned operator, a straight-talking friend, a numbers professional. Give them full visibility of your commitments and your books. Schedule quarterly conscience reviews. Pre-authorize them to interrupt any meeting and to demand documentation. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, Proverbs 27:6. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word shall be established. Matthew 18:16. Lead with your life. Tweet that to somebody right now. Finally, prune your environment, end relationships and vendors that mock your standards. If a partner laughs at your policy, escort them to the exit. Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Remove the apps that hide, the meetings that go dark, the incentives that pay you to cheat. Bind yourself to vows and systems until integrity is not an effort, it is your default. He swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:4, my private price is 0. Hear me, God is not against wealth, he is against worship. Write it down. You shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth. Deuteronomy 8:18. Power to get it, not permission to bow to it. No one can serve 2 masters. You cannot serve God and mammon. Matthew 6:24. Character governs cash. When image comes before dominion, money knows its place at your feet, not on your throne. There is a trust economy in the kingdom. Wealth follows trust. Trust follows integrity. Tweet that. If you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? Luke 16:11. People fund what they trust. Markets pay what they trust. Heaven releases what it trusts. Integrity is the credit score of your calling. The upright are guided by integrity. Proverbs 11:3. Money prefers straight roads. Now habits, because stewardship is not a feeling, it is a system. Honor the Lord first. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits, then your barns will be filled with plenty. Proverbs 3-9-10. Give us a principle, not as a panic. Whoever sows sparingly will reap sparingly. God loves a cheerful giver. 2 Corinthians 9-6-7. Budget by values, name every dollar by conviction before a desire kidnaps it. Save with purpose, spend with transparency, invest with patience. Name your margins, generosity, stewardship, excellence. Write it down. Automate, obedience, percentage giving, percentage saving, percentage investing. So faithfulness doesn't wait on feelings. Honesty is my only policy. Do not chase money. Serve people. Your gift is your leadership fruit. Trees don't run after you. They stand, they serve, they attract. A man's gift makes room for him. Proverbs 18:16. Do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29. Earn by deploying your difference. Package service. Price integrity. Deliver excellence. Prosperity is the applause for faithful service. Here is the outcome, and you can tweet it. When your private price is 0, doors can open safely because your character can carry them. That is the talents principle. Faithful over little, ruler over much. Matthew 25-21. True prosperity is the byproduct of trusted stewardship. Integrity invites increase. Make money your servant, not your master, and watch resources report for duty at the address of your integrity. This is the final examination. No multiple choice, only one question with one right answer. Are you for sale? Not tomorrow now. In the presence of God and before your own conscience. Answer it publicly and privately. Choose this day whom you will serve. Joshua 24-15. I have set before you life and death. Therefore choose life. Deuteronomy 30-19. Your choice tonight will govern your tomorrow. Write it down. Make the pledge and let your mouth sign your soul. Say it out loud and tweet it to your future. My integrity is not on the market. My price is 0. My yes is yes and my no is no. Matthew 5:37. I will not bow to mammon. Matthew 6:24. I will not trade conviction for convenience, principle for profit, or truth for timing. I am the same at 2 a.m. and at 2 p.m. The Lord our God is one. I will be one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Be holy, be whole. 1 Peter 1:16. Honesty is my only policy. Seal it in practice. Before you sleep, sign your integrity contract. Date it, print it, and share it with your accountability circle. Send the document, not just the intention. Give them permission to question you, pause you, and pull your receipts. Post a pledge where money negotiates, office wall, dashboard, wallet. Set a daily alarm titled, Honesty is my only policy, and declare it every morning before you check a balance or answer an email. Read Psalm 15 at the start of each week. He swears to his own hurt and does not change. Lead with your ledger and your life. Now the charge, live loudly. There is no such thing as a private life. Image before dominion always. He who is faithful in very little is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. Wealth follows trust. Trust follows integrity. Go in oneness. Guard your name. Serve with your gift and settle it forever. I am not for sale. My private price is 0.